Meeting to order. Stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Any other comments? Roll call.
Bird.
Aye.
Olson. Aye. Maxwell.
Aye.
Next up, public comment. If anybody has anything they would like to say during public comment, please go to the podium and state your name and address.
Is this concerning anything?
Concerning anything.
No, it's on the agenda. Is it about the liquor license?
Yes.
Then there will be a separate public comment for that one issue.
Hearing no public comment, we will move ahead to business item number 3. Resolution 2020-30, annexation of tract 2 of Country Corner Orchards Edition, left lot H1.
This was, this property has signed a pre-annexation agreement with the city when we brought our sewer line through it that goes out to elementary number 7 on Louise. And this, they are annexing at this time. The pre-annexation allowed us to request to annex it pretty much any time. But this is being driven by a development to the west of them, and to go down the road any further in discussions with them on our site plans. We asked them to annex, so in order to get to them, we need to activate this. This is a voluntary annexation. Any questions about the parcel where it's at?
Move to approve and authorize the mayor to sign resolution 2020-30, annexation of tract 2 of Country Corner Orchards Edition, less lot H1, approximately 47.02 acres.
Second. I have a motion to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Bird.
Aye.
Maxwell.
Aye.
Olson. Abstain. Because of Councilman Tank not being here, the two, his absence and the abstention counts as no vote, so it's a tie vote. And you're allowed to about that.
My vote's a yes.
Okay. Approved.
Next, we will bump to resolution 2020-31, annexation of the west half northeast quarter, west Fountain Estates, and the east 271.50 of the west 321.50 of the north 320.88 of section 38, tract 100 north R50W 5th PM, Lincoln County, South Dakota.
This is the property that would like to develop and that through the process. And so this is also a voluntary annexation. I will agreement on this one, but like I said, it's directly to the west of the apple orchard. This is the orchard piece that just came in. As you might remember, we had already annexed the south unit of the orchard. And these are the two pieces here that are coming in with this resolution. That's the Fountain Estates that's not coming in.
I move to approve and authorize the mayor to sign resolution 2020-31, annexation of the west half northeast quarter, West Mountain Estates in the east 271.50 degrees of the west 321.5 degrees of the north 320.88 degrees of section 34, township 100 north, range 50 west of the Meridian, Lincoln County, South Dakota, approximately 60.82 acres.
Second.
Have a motion to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Berg.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Maxwell.
Aye.
All right, now we'll move into public hearing. Andrew?
This is just to remind you of kind of what you're doing as part of this process. State law tasks city councils and county commissions with having public hearings for the issuance of liquor license. They lay out the groundwork that you are able to consider the criteria for whether or not you approve. That criteria revolves around two things: the character of the applicant and the suitability of the site. One of the number one concerns about site would be its proximity to a school. That's not an issue here, and it's evident by other liquor license, off-sale liquor licenses in the vicinity. And then the character of the applicant, and in this case, it hasn't been drawn into question for us, I guess, whether or not Hy-Vee, their character. I mean, they hold liquor licenses many places, and we aren't aware of anything that would make us be leery of that. So if those two criteria are met, you're generally tasked really with just an administrative process of approving the license. You aren't given a whole lot of discretion. Some cities have tried to consider other components with local ordinances. Sioux Falls, using their homework charter a number of years ago, tried to use proximity of other similar permits to a new permit as a reason to deny such a permit. That was for video lottery, but based on the fact that video lottery follows a liquor license, the Attorney General had advised the city of Sioux Falls that even under home rule, that was unconstitutional for them to add criteria that there wasn't some envisioning for in 35 subsection 2 of state law that kind of guides your process here. So those are the two things that you're allowed to consider. So if someone is able to, I guess, speak to those two concerns about something, again, I mean, the school distance is a pretty straightforward thing. So if there's something about the character of Hy-Vee, then that's the kind of thing that you might be able to consider tonight. And I believe there are representatives from Hy-Vee here if you want them to speak next.
Okay, how are you doing, gentlemen? Good. Appreciate your time tonight. Is there anything specific? Okay, we just see it as a great opportunity to expand in the South Dakota area. I mean, the stores are very involved in Harrisburg already, and we see it as a great opportunity. See, Harrisburg is a great community to expand in, so appreciate your looking at it.
Do you have any details about timeline, size of the store, other amenities that might be in the store, and maybe the size of the workforce that might?
So at this point, I don't know the timeline, if you will. I know it's just in the works. It'll be a Dollar Fresh at this point is the label that'll be on the store. So it's kind of a different format for us. It'll be a smaller store. Those are normally running like 30 to 35,000 square feet. It's got a little bit different format to it. It'll have some different amenities that our stores maybe in the city don't have or do have. Some shoes and some offerings maybe that aren't available down in this area currently. It won't have like a full food service offering, but it'll have its own little kind of food service area in the store, if you will. groceries, meat. It'll have a pretty full line, just not to the extent that our larger stores in the city have.
Pharmacy or gas station or coffee.
At this point, none of those. Pharmacy is a potential option. We have been putting those in some of our locations. And back to your question about workforce, normally we open these up around 40 to 45 employees, with some of those being full-time positions.
All right. Thank you for the extra details.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
If you wanna-
My name is Brian Walman. I'm a citizen of Harrisburg and been here for about 5 years. Wanted to say that we really enjoy this town and we're looking forward to the growth of this town. When I look towards the future, I look at things that are going to help this town. I'm really excited about it. And I honestly don't see a benefit to a Hy-Vee at this time, especially right in the center of town. If they were expanding and on the outskirts for growth, it makes more sense. But in competition with what we already have going on, a Dollar General is already opening up, building's already there. They're going to compete with that. They compete with our current grocery store. They may add a gas station in the future. Why do we need 3 gas stations within a block and a half, 2 blocks of each other? Offer liquor, which is going to affect, they'll probably have a coffee shop. They'll be right next to our one coffee shop in town. I just feel that this will hurt our town more than it will help. That's all I need to say.
Thank you. Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll move into business item number 1. Approval and authorize mayor to sign retail on-off sale malt beverage and South Dakota farm wine package off sale liquor license to $5 Fresh.
Move to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the retail on sale malt beverage and South Dakota farm wine and package off sale liquor license.
Second. I have a motion to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Bird. All right. Olson. All right. Maxwell.
Aye.
Item number 2, consider request from Overby water bill adjustment.
Hello, my name is Kiana Overby. I live at 610 Teddy Street. For the month of August, my water bill was the amount of $1,169.28. Pretty outrageous. That was for 71,000 gallons of water. I'm the only one that lives at my house. I don't have a pool. I don't water my lawn. I called Jill about this issue towards the end of September. And I just had to leave a message, left another message the following Monday, and Dustin came out to replace my water meter. Both before replacing it and after, he was looking around to see if there was any water flowing through the meter to indicate a leak. There was no indication of that. Beyond that, I received a follow-up call from Dustin saying that they were still seeing 50 to 100 gallons of water flowing through my meter at a couple hours during the day. I brought out a plumber. He inspected everything within my house. And he said there's nothing that would be causing something like that to be going on. No standing water outside my house, no water in the basement, no leaks anywhere else. And he said that the only way that he could see me going through 71,000 gallons of water in 1 month is if someone hooked up to my hydrant and was using my water, which I don't believe that was occurring, but he's been out to my house before and I trust him as a plumber. So just a little bit perplexed as to how that happened. At the time that this occurred, I was unemployed, currently working a part-time job. So $1,200 for a water bill is pretty outrageous for me to consider paying. The one time that I had a slightly elevated water bill was for the month of January of this year. And that was for the amount of $304.50. At that time, I had a toilet leak, and I brought out that same plumber. It was Travis High of High Plumbing. He fixed it. In the months following, I was able to call the city back and said I am seeing elevated sewage levels. So I was able to address that because I had proof that I had a leak and someone came out to address it. But given that he's helped me before, he came out again and saw no reason for a leak. Just a little bit confused as to how to go from here. And I did print out my account history if that would be helpful to view.
Yeah, we got it.
You got it?
Yeah. And I did see the emails going back and forth when we did have a city maintenance guy going out and checking it out, so I know that it's been proved that there was no water leaking at the time.
Sure.
The issue's been addressed going forward?
I'm sorry?
You said the issue's been fixed and addressed going forward?
I haven't had any elevated water bills this month.
We, requests like this usually end with a phone call and a frustrated resident not knowing, what happened with their home. Sometimes we hear back later that they found a leak, and sometimes they say they never did find a leak, but we don't bring these to you normally. But with the leniency and the flexibility we've shown this year with COVID and the hardships on employment and other issues that it created, we thought this might be a reason to bring it forward and allow you to maybe use some of that flexibility again.
I'm just looking at the numbers here and stuff, see what we can do. So your September bill was $153.32. Am I looking at that right?
That
Ben?
sounds correct. My account on PSN, I was only able to view bills up until that $1,200 bill.
Sometimes we see it too, like if someone has a in-ground sprinkler system, there's a kind of leak, but she doesn't have a
Because we've had a couple
sprinkler
of them.
system either.
We've had that this summer, haven't we?
Yeah, but she doesn't have.
Yeah, it may be worth mentioning too that the neighbors directly behind me did install an irrigation system over the summer. I don't know if that has anything to do with my elevated usage, but
So it was just the 1 month that, and then all of a sudden that's when you, so it was just, and then that 1 month in August was that 1169.28.
Mhm.
Gotcha, okay.
It was in July of 2, and then it went way up. I guess, I think we've got your months of prior usage. We kind of know what you normally use. I guess I'll go ahead and move to approve the adjustment of the overview account in the amount of $1,015.96. As a credit, that will bring your bill back for August in line with the rest of your months, and leave you then with a balance of $153.32. We appreciate you bringing this to our attention.
Is that for, okay, so that, okay, that's got it.
Yeah, it would be the yellow column.
I'll second that.
I have a motion to approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Bird. Aye. Olson. Aye. Maxwell.
Hi.
thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Now we'll jump to business item number 5. Resolution 2020-32, speed limit change on portion of North Cliff Avenue. Joe?
Good evening. I brought this up to you previously. As this town grows, and now that we are taking over the arterial roads, it's time to take another look at the speed limits along these arterial roads, namely, it's just the clicker for this thing. I just need the map,
Oh, which map?
the big count. That one works. I could maybe zoom in a little. Yeah, that's fine. More on Will. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry, which portion?
Let's do, what we're doing, 32 North Cliff, so that would be past 272 up to the edge of where we are at. Yep. So this portion of Cliff, we're taking over Cliff Avenue from here south. This portion of Cliff is currently 55 miles an hour. This developer here is just turning in a site plan for the development along Cliff with access points. And also, this developer is still in the preliminary stages, but he plans to have an access point lining up with this one here. And so with the increased traffic and turning and things like that, it's warranted that this will be reduced from 55 to 45 for just this section down to here. And this is where it already transitions down to 35 going south. That would remain, be this portion, just this going from 55 to 45. What I would recommend.
What is the, maybe for full context, what are the other portions from the other?
Sure. Maybe we South Cliff, which would be from Willow Street down to where the pavement ends. This area is currently 35. Yeah. This area is currently 35 miles per hour. There is a school, several access points, businesses, and there is currently open lots here, but there are known development interests on both of these. It'd be multifamily. I think this has been 35 miles an hour for some time. And again, as the city grows, especially with the school children in this area, 35 miles an hour is likely no longer warranted. On this arterial street, I would recommend reducing this to 25 miles an hour. The majority of the streets surrounding it are all the 20 miles an hour. I actually drove this. I drive this quite a bit actually, and I find it going 35 miles an hour just feels fast. I bet you guys do too. Is that, you know, as the corridor kind of closes up, as we develop, it just doesn't feel like this isn't an open corridor anymore. It's turning into the center of town. So there's that. And then on Willow from Cliff over to Columbia, there are 10 access points in just this little stretch here. Right about at Columbia, it goes down to 25 miles an hour going east. And then we have this little jump where it's 35, and it continues on 35 going west. This area is just a short little stretch before you have to stop at the intersection. Again, with all the turning, there's a new path. I would expect more pedestrian use. In recent years, we've had Fairway and Ace go in. We have interest at the lot here, the Hy-Vee, and so I would recommend that one being reduced from 35 to 25, just over to Cliff. There are other areas of town, say from Cliff going west, that's 35 out to Minnesota, and then from Cliff from Willow going up to The vet clinic, that's 35. You know, I would recommend just monitoring those for now. As Creekside develops, as Devitt develops, and also as Dynamic up north develops, I think we should take another look at these and see how much pedestrian and commercial use goes in along these corridors. But today, I think we should just monitor those sections. And so the 3 sections I just mentioned previously are what I would recommend doing this year.
Well, it's kind of nice to have a step too when you're coming in from north. I mean, to go from 55 to 35 is
Yeah.
kind of the same.
Yep.
I'll move to approve and authorize the mayor to sign resolution 2020-32, reduce the speed limit to 45 miles per hour on a portion of North Cliff Avenue from 500 feet north of Prospect Street to 2,450 feet north of Prospect Street, the city of Harrisburg.
Second. I have a motion to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Bird. Aye. Olson. Aye. Maxwell.
Aye. Resolution 2020-33, speed limit change on portion of South Cliff Avenue. With Lori spoke of.
Yep.
I'll move to approve and authorize the mayor to sign resolution 2020-33 to reduce speed limit to 25 miles per hour on a portion of South Cliff Avenue from Willow Street to 400 feet south of Honeysuckle Drive in the city of Harrisburg.
Second.
I have a motion to approve. Is there any further discussion?
When would the, I was gonna say, when is this effective immediately? Like,
It will be
when would
effective after the first of the year, whenever Toby get his signs in.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, it can't be effective until signage is up, and we're not going to purchase new signage until we can have it ordered, ready to go, but
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Bird. Aye. Olson.
Aye.
Maxwell.
Aye.
Resolution 2020-34, speed limit change on portion of Willow Street.
Move to approve and authorize the mayor to sign resolution 2020-34 to reduce speed limit to 25 miles per hour on a portion of Willow Street from Cliff Avenue East to Columbia Street in the city of Harrisburg.
Second.
I have a motion to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Bird. Aye. Olson.
Aye.
Maxwell.
Aye.
Business item number 8, first reading ordinance 2020-11, supplemental appropriations ordinance.
This is the one last cleanup that you will see to true things up for the end of the year, and that you'll have the second reading hearing on when you for the next meeting. So that year-end meeting that we'll have, and that's where you see that date yet to be determined. So kind of also laying down what day you're going to have that meeting.
We're gonna do 29th or 30th. 29th.
29's fine.
That works. 29th.
Move to set the second reading of ordinance 2020-11, supplemental appropriations ordinance for December 29th, 2020 city council meeting.
Second.
Have a motion to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Bird. Aye. Wilson.
Aye.
Maxwell.
Aye. Item number 9, consider and authorize mayor to sign an amended joint exercise of government powers agreement between Lincoln County and the city of Harrisburg regarding a segment of Lincoln County roads 110 and 123.
This is an amendment to the original agreement that you had passed earlier this year, where we accepted 2 miles of Willow and 1.5 miles of Cliff Avenue. That was, as a reminder, 2 million over 15 years. 2.5 million over 15, 2.5 million over 15 years. The amendment here is that there will be an additional $100,000 payment next year and a second additional $100,000 payment in 2022. That is in lieu of the county performing performing an overlay of Cliff Avenue next year. The value of that overlay was estimated to be at 200,000. That's why we're getting 2 additional payments of 100,000. Rather than messing with the rest of the schedule, and because we thought that would come in next year, the payments are gonna come in.
Move to approve and authorize the mayor to sign and amend the joint exercise of governmental powers agreement between Lincoln County and the city of Harrisburg regarding a segment of Lincoln County roads 110 and 123.
Second. I have a motion to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Bird. Olson. Maxwell.
Aye. Item number 10, consider and authorize mayor to sign change order number 6, water reclamation facility. Joe?
This change order, there are some minor changes to the UV structure. That actually resulted in a net zero change, but just to document that some of the plans are changing. That's why we bring the change order to you guys. It's generally speaking, some of the concrete dimensions changed. Doesn't really affect a whole lot.
I'll move to approve and authorize the mayor to sign change order number 6 for the Harrisburg Water Reclamation Facility in the amount of $0.
Second. I have a motion to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Bird. Olson. Maxwell.
Aye. Item number 11, approve and authorize mayor to sign change order number 7, water reclamation facility.
This change order is again another net zero change. The sludge pump building, the roof design had to be slightly modified for some access things. It was a pretty minor modification.
Move to approve and authorize the mayor to sign change order number 7 for the water reclamation facility in the amount of $0.
Second.
I have a motion to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Bird. Olson. Maxwell.
Aye. Item number 12, approve and authorize mayor to sign change order number 8, water reclamation facility.
This change order involves the biosolids handling area. We had bid the biosolids area as a concrete structure with a metal roof. The metal roof was bid as an alternate, and we elected not to proceed with the alternate on it. But going forward in the future, we think that we might want to put a metal roof on that in the future. And to kind of ensure that we're not stuck with a certain type of metal roof, but this change order would give us some flexibility in the future selection of that roof. So it kind of changes the footing and some of the rebar sizes. We find this pretty good value now, so that we're not have some more flexibility in the future.
This is actually a deduction, right?
I'll move to approve and authorize the mayor to sign change order number 8, water reclamation facility in the deduct amount of $5,051.00.
Second. I have a motion to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Bird. Olson. Maxwell.
Aye. Item number 13, consider and authorize mayor to sign change order number 1, Harrisburg shared use path, South Dakota DOT Willow Street.
We're bringing all 3 change orders to you tonight. These change orders have been going on throughout the project. We feel that we should bring all these to council. Of course, DOT leads the project, but that we need to have the city actually also approve some of these change orders. The first one just changes the concrete mix design. There are some minor changes throughout the project. This actually results in no change to the price.
I move to approve and authorize the mayor to sign change order number 1 for the Harrisburg shared use path, SDDOT Willow Street, in the net charge amount of $0.
Second. I have a motion to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Bird. Olson. Maxwell.
Aye. Item number 14, consider and authorize mayor to sign change order number 2, Harrisburg shared use path, South Dakota DOT Willow Street.
This change order is a little kind of a significant one that lumped in a lot of the minor changes throughout the project. We had to adjust manholes, culvert diameters and lengths and things like that. Kind of one of those catch-all things where you can square up the quantities towards the end of the project. This would be that one.
I move to approve and authorize the mayor to sign change order number 2 for the Harrisburg Shared Use South Dakota DOT Willow Street and the net deduct amount of $20,365.40.
Second.
I have a motion to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Bird. Aye. Olson. Aye. Maxwell.
Aye. Item number 15, consider and authorize mayor to sign change order number 3, Harrisburg Shared Use Pass up for the DOT Willow Street.
This one is again kind of a catch-all where there are some minor changes to pipe lengths, actual areas of concrete and asphalt, things like that. I think this one was actually a deduct.
I move to approve and authorize the mayor to sign change order number 3 for the Harrisburg Shared Use South Dakota DOT Willow Street and the net charge amount of $19,942.64.
Second. I have a motion to approve. Any further discussions? Hearing none, roll call.
Bird. Aye. Olson. Aye. Maxwell.
Aye.
You want to do?
Do you want to do reports first?
While Joe gets ready, I had a discussion with Michael's Distribution, who delivers this paper down. They found their information here. I was not able to find anybody with Argus Leader, but Michael's Distribution gave me a call back. They provided me with a list that they say they download from Argus Leader website that is people who have supposedly opted in for delivery of that paper. And I looked at the list and just told Michael that, for example, I'm not on that list and neither are my neighbors, but we all get it. And it's in the driveways right now. And so I think that between losing, I think she kind of lost confidence in her list and knowing that laying that paper somewhere that's not been invited is littering in that sense. And she said they will cease all this distribution in Harrisburg, any Harrisburg address. We'll see if that actually happens. But she was very cooperative and helpful, so I do suspect it'll happen.
And we did receive a complaint about it?
We did, yes.
Yeah.
That's why we asked it was based on that complaint. We didn't ask them to cease all distribution in town, but they didn't know how to move forward with any distribution if those they're being provided doesn't seem to add up, and the delivery drivers don't seem to be following it.
Joe?
So, end of 2020, I wanted to go over with you guys all the projects we did this year. This is a pretty, of course, difficult map to see on the screen. It's on the website, linkable on the agenda. If everybody wants to take a closer look at that. I'll just go down the list. I do have some construction prices, so it doesn't include any engineering. There are some cost sharing things throughout. I'll touch on that, but just generally speaking, this is the bid or invoice prices of these projects. And so I guess the first one was the Willow Street Shared Use Path. That was a joint venture with the DOT through the Safe Routes to School or something, or whatever they call themselves now.
Transportation alternative.
Yeah, that program. That was bid at $914,000. At least half of that is funded by the DOT. That project is pretty much complete at this point. It's over 100,000 under budget. So the majority of that cost savings will be reflected on the city's end. The DOT would still pay $400,000 to $500,000. So that's a pretty significant project to finally get done. I think that was thought of back in 2012 or something like that. So to finally have that done is great. Also with that, with Minnesota Avenue being reconstructed, they did install a shared use path from Willow Street here all the way up to Walmart. We paid for some oversizing on that, I guess you could say. Originally the sidewalk was smaller, we wanted to be similar to that shared use path. That's along Willow. And I believe we paid about $38,000 for our portion. Going along with pedestrian paths also is the Legendary Trail, kind of a temporary trail from Willow Street up to Legendary Estates. Now Legendary Estates residents now have a accessible path, especially the school age kids that go to elementary school here or others that we installed this back in August. I think there was a pretty good amount of use already, even though it's towards the end of the year. That is a temporary trail. As Midland is developed, that will be replaced with sidewalk. We installed that at $17,000. That was a pretty good, efficient way to connect that portion of our community to the rest of us. We also installed sidewalks on Cliff and some ADA improvements in Shebel. That one came in at $16,000. We also include installed some sidewalks along Hugh Robinson Park. That was $26,000. Parks, that will definitely bring some more use to there. I just drove by there today and I saw a lot of kids using that portion of the sidewalk, even though there's sidewalk on the north side of the street, and actually using that park. So I see a lot of value to that kind of stuff. Getting into the not so interesting stuff with the asphalt patching around town. Actually, our public works guys helped out a lot with that to reduce the price. They did a lot of the removals. The actual contract price for the overlay for the patching was about $45,000. We also did several kind of overlays throughout town on Anaway and also on Greyhawk and Linden. That totaled about $35,000. And then we also did slurry seal. Slurry seal this last year was on Hickory, Maple, Perry, Glean, and Macy. That protects our streets. We do a good portion every year. That came in at $65,000. We improved the railroad crossings this year, both of them. That totaled about $47,000 to repair those. We constructed Columbia Street. This was kind of a joint agreement with the developer here. We installed the street, the sewer, the water, and some storm sewer there. That was bid at $536,000. Approximately $200,000 is the developer's responsibility. So this portion of the development will be able to be developed, and also it is the main street along Central Park. We also had some water main oversizing reimbursement here. We installed 12-inch main in this little section here. Next year, we do plan to continue on with this 12-inch main over to this water tower. In the next couple of years, I plan to install 12-inch from water tower to water tower. That's kind of one of our biggest issues with our water distribution system is we don't have 12-inch main trunk line connections between the water towers. And so when we get those connected, the overall distribution system will just work much more efficiently. We did some manhole rehabilitation along Columbia. That came in at about $48,000. The big one is the water reclamation facility that broke ground this year. It won't be complete until September of 2021. The guaranteed maximum price is $16.3 million. This year we had paid 4.5. So not even halfway done with the bills, but we're about halfway done with construction. A lot of the walls are up now, things like that. More sewer things. We constructed the west side sewer from Minnesota all the way out to Louise. That was another joint agreement with the school district. They paid are paying a large portion of that. We paid them to upsize it to capture the remainder of the basin. That was $3 million. We would pay about $1 million of that. That is complete now. Our final payout will be in January. Also the force main, which is part of the wastewater facility out to the Big Sioux River. That was bid at $3.6 million. That is complete. That's about it for the wastewater. That was a pretty big portion of our capital improvements this year. As far as the storm sewer, we did curb and inlet repairs throughout town for $50,000. 2 ditch projects along Southeastern, going down to nearly the creek and then all the way up to Maple, each for about $50,000. Kind of really improved the flow along there. The Willow Street bioswale right across from the elementary school, kind of a new technology for us, trying to improve stormwater quality. That was $80,000. And then we just kind of had some things around the facility, the maintenance shop facility. We did built a couple offices for about $10,000, paving for $50,000, a salt storage shed for $50,000, and some other kind of miscellaneous things. I almost forgot our water main along Minnesota Avenue. We haven't seen the final bill for that. That was estimated at $1.3 million. That was kind of a joint thing with Lincoln County Rural Water, and so that's go through their board next month, and then we'll get the final on that. So all said, actual construction costs $14,850,000 this year. So I don't know who will ever have a year like that again. That was a lot going in. Thankfully, a lot of them were joint or shared things, and a lot of grant monies and really low interest loans. So big year for us. That's all I have really. Do you have any questions on it, or?
Do you have a report on the water reclamation facility? Are they ahead of schedule, behind schedule?
They are just slightly ahead. They're usually tracking right on. With the good weather, I think they were trying to get ahead a little bit more. I don't think that happened. They're actually going to take a week off for Christmas. They do have the walls of the operations building up. I believe they started putting up the walls on the headworks building. So those should all be complete before they take off for a week. Once the walls are up, kind of a lot of the smaller process piping, electrical, mechanical things really get going. So that was kind of a huge part of getting to the next step.
Thank you, Joe.
And we got a new disc golf course.
Oh yeah, that was roll box.
Into the motion to enter executive session.
We'll enter into executive session pursuant to South Dakota by law 1.25.2 subsection 4 for contract negotiation at 6:49 p.m.
Second. Got a motion to enter executive session, roll call.
Bird. Aye. Wilson. Aye. Maxwell.
Hi. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Move to adjourn us out.
Declare us out of executive.
Move to move us out of an executive session at 7:34.
I'll move to adjourn the city council meeting at 7:34.
We gotta set the time. We'll set the time for the 29th, the city council meeting for 4:30. City Hall.
Second.
Get a motion to set the time at 5 at City Hall on 29th.
4:30.
4:30, sorry. Second. Roll call.
Bird.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Maxwell.
Aye.
I'll move to adjourn the city council meeting at 7:35.
Second.
Roll call.
Bird.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Maxwell.
Aye.
Bye, Mary.